Greetings ladies and gentlemen, time for another review. Today we'll be looking at the Dunu 2000J, DN2000J I think is the full name. This is a rather unusual thing. It's a 3-driver dynamic armature hybrid. It uses one dynamic driver for the lows and a dual armature for the mids and the highs. These are at the moment, I believe, Dunu's flagship in-ear monitor, and it certainly shows. They are built very, very well, at least the earpiece itself is. It's a solid aluminium construction with an earpiece here. They come with a wide selection of earpieces, or tips if you will, which I do believe they're supposed to change the sound slightly, depending on whether you use the black ones or the white ones. I think, I can't remember if the black ones, yeah, the black ones have, you may be able to tell there's sort of a bit of foam in there. Supposedly it dampens some of the frequencies and changes the sound slightly, so you can tune them that way. The in-ears themselves, like I said, are very well built, solid aluminium construction. I don't think there are any seams that are really visible, not even when you remove these. Here you find this very nice port, which fits most sort of tips, but it is a bit wide, so keep that in mind. It comes with some little rings that you can fit in here as well to tune the sound. Apart from that, the cable itself is sort of where it goes downwards. The cable is quite poor quality, to be honest. I think it's rubber isolation over some very, very thin wire inside. It's sort of the type that you may know from some other in-ear monitors where you can sort of compress it, because the insulation is actually too large for the wires inside. You can't do that to the main cable, which seems fairly sturdy, but it's still a rubber cable and doesn't, I doubt the cable itself is too sturdy, but overall it's very soft and maneuverable, and the strain relief is quite good, so if you do take care of them you can keep them alive for quite a long time, I think. The splitter, as you can see here, is a small aluminium block, milled aluminium, much like the plug itself, which has the serial number on it. They aren't really anything to speak of. It's decent quality, nothing exceptional. It does the job. You have this to sort of constrain them if you want to wear them around the back of your neck or something like that, like you do with custom in-ear monitors for stage use. But apart from that, it sort of fits down on top of the block here in the middle, so it sort of disappears, which I prefer to. The cable has this thing on it, which you either like or you hate it, to be honest. It does its job decently well. It's sort of to sort the cable when you're not using them. I think it's a bit unnecessary, and it's a bit fiddly. It's sometimes a bit difficult to get it to actually close properly, but it's there if you want it. You can't really remove it without sort of cutting it away, but I suppose you can do that if you find it annoying. So, not much to say about the cable, knowing like Mike, no particularly extraordinary bits on that one. But the earpieces themselves are good. That's basically all there is to say about the physical part of them. Apart from the design-wise, good, very simple, but they are quite large in diameter. I don't know if you can tell, if I compare them to something like this, if you can see this, there's the IE800, comparatively. Oh, come on, camera, focus, will you? No, it won't. That's annoying. Well, in either case, it's quite large, and to my ears, it only just fits my ears, and a lot of people may find issues with them as far as getting them to fit properly because they are so big. At least you won't be able to shove them very far into the ear canal, which may sort of create difficulties as far as the pressure, or rather the isolation goes. That aside, for what they are fairly cheap though. you can find them for relatively low prices, especially compared to other flagship in-ear monitors. And that being considered, they do actually perform quite well. They perform much along the lines of, well, the usual sort of $800 flagships, in my opinion, sound-wise. At least when you go by the resolution and the soundstage. Their biggest issue is that they are bright. They are quite bright, to be honest. You can equalize your way out of it, at least to some extent, which I've tried and it works fairly well. But if you can live with the fact they're quite bright, then you can get quite a lot of bang for your buck with these. They are very, very well resolved, very good detail retrieval, and a very clear sound and soundstage. It's a very, very crisp sound. The bass is sort of, it is punchy and it is there. You might want more of it comparatively to the rest of the sound spectrum, but it is a fairly good bass, as you'd expect, considering it's a dynamic driver doing the job there. The mids are sort of, again, they're good quality, but quantity-wise, they do leave quite a bit to be wanted. Because the high mids and treble is a bit overwhelming comparatively. There's quite a lot of that. It's very good treble and very good mids, very crispy and very clean, and extremely detailed, but it's just a bit bright. So overall, I'd say I recommend these considering that they are fairly cheap for a flagship in-ear monitor. However, that comes with the preface that you may need to make sure that the music you listen to is good with them. Because if you listen to some very bassy music and you want it to be very, very bassy, if you like very bass-heavy music and sound in general, these will not be for you. But if you're more into the sort of very clear sound, the very detailed, crisp sound, and you don't necessarily need the big booming bass, then these are very, very good. They do very well with classical music and with ambient electronica and acoustic music, that sort of stuff. So for those genres, I'd say I'd recommend these very, very strongly. For bass-heavy genres, I'd say give them a listen before you buy them, because you may not like what you get, because they are so bright. So yeah, that's basically that. Build quality, so-so. Sound quality, very good. Sound, or rather frequency response, questionable. Overall, I do recommend these if you're into the sort of music they're good with. That's about all I have to say about these. If you have any questions about them or anything else that I may be able to help you with, feel free to ask me in the comment section. And if you want to see more or like the review, feel free to thumbs up and subscribe. Have a good one.